speaking of Ian, you have maybe our last topic. Yes, you have our last topic.
I do have our last topic.
Go on to that.
So I was actually kind of wondering about this. Basically, I have two parts to this topic. Is one, what is something that you've always kind of wanted to learn, like a skill or maybe a talent or something? And are there any that you wanted to really learn that you went out and kind of found? Like one of my things that I wanted to do since I was a kid, especially when I started playing 1080 snowboarding, was learn how to snowboard.
Yeah,
and I went out and learned it. And it's so much fun. I'm actually doing the real snowboarding, not just the game. So that was like one of my things that I always wanted to do, and I enjoy it a lot. Even being a Floridian, where we have A, no mountains, and B, no snow. But it's one of my favorite things to do. Another thing I tried to learn, I just didn't give myself enough time, was like to learn to play guitar.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a few intros and stuff like that, and then I just kind of gave up on it.
That's something I like feel the same way about. It's like, oh, a musical instrument, so sexy.
Like, well, you know what? And what I sat there and then tried to do was no, a harmonica.
Oh yeah,
how cool would that be? Just to whip out a harmonica.
The jazz flute. The jazz flute is for
little
sissies.
Yeah. And then the other thing like I learned and I really liked was kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. That was another big thing that I dedicated close to 2 years of my life to. And I mean, I want to get back into it. And a lot of people that end up quitting it sometimes, I'm saying the same thing, is that I just don't have time. But in all reality, I do have time. You know, if you really put it down, I could cut out of my video game habit, other things like that. But
we could all get a lot of shit done if we cut it down.
But I don't know. Is there something that you guys have been thinking of trying to learn here soon?
Yeah, for sure. Like Rocco was saying, like an instrument. Like I've taken some piano lessons and like gotten like, you know, at some point, but I like always wanted to like learn more about it. Guitar. I mean, any musical instrument really. Just like instruments, languages. There's like a never ending list of things. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. There was a really funny time that with Rocco, I went over to his house and I was honestly thinking about learning Mandarin, and I really wanted to. And he's like. He said something to me about learning language. I was like, yeah, I've been taking Mandarin for like 3 years. He's like, no way. And I totally had him going, but I never.
Yeah,
I think I just started making up some Chinese words.
It's like probably the most racist shit ever.
Or sounding like it.
But yeah, I always wanted to learn Mandarin. You know, I thought that'd be a pretty interesting.
It'd be useful these days.
Oh,
I know, honestly.
Especially
I would see for me though, that one you were saying like the first step is the like what would you want to learn? Definitely, like Alan just said too, and you just said, Ian, is a language by far. That's one of the like number one things for me right now. And my son, who, you know, just yesterday was like, I want to learn Spanish. I was like, perfect opportunity for me to go learn Spanish at the same time. He's going to be learning Spanish and kind of do it together where we can now come home and we can speak a little Spanish together or something like that. But speaking another language is like one of the top of the priorities for me of like something I want to learn that I haven't yet, because it opens up a whole nother door of communication to a bunch of other individuals that you weren't able to ever have communication with.
It just opens a door, to anything, like anything related to that culture. Then you're like, you have an in, you know, like then you can learn more about anything about that they know, you know.
And I've got family that's, you know, like my wife's side is Peruvian, so like they live in Peru, where if I could speak Spanish, it would be huge.
Yeah, if you could go to Peru, like, hey, where's like the good spot to get this, you know, food or something, you know, like, where's like a great place to go?
Just have a conversation with them where it's not like broken Spanish or broken English, just attempting to try, but we can actually know who each other is. Like they can ask me questions and I can answer them. They can get to know who Rocco is, and I can do the same vice versa, you know. But we can't really do that when we have such a, you know, barrier between us by language. So
you should do that Rosetta Stone, right? I heard that is a really great way to pass.
Also, there's Rosetta Stone. There's another one too called Pimsleur, which is one I like a lot. Is it
not roll off the tongue?
Pimsleur.
Learn a language.
It's like learning like specific, you know, verbs or nouns and stuff like that. It throws you in with like conversational words, because they say that that's how children learn. They learn by like not just one word at a time, but like a sentence at a time kind of deal. Like, hey, how are you? And just a response. Oh, I'm doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
learn their conversation skills that way.
That makes
So
sense.
this is how Pimsleur teaches, and I've taken a few of it, and it was working really well. But then, just like Ian had said, that he dropped out. And
I would suggest,
did it
because like you guys know, I'm taking Japanese and have been taking it for the last year or so.
Yeah.
I would suggest
Tutor?
a tutor, because like being able to interact with like a native speaker and
Huge.
is like, yeah, invaluable, because they can really tell you, like, critique what you're saying, like how you're saying it.
You find
let
out
you
you're
know-
saying it totally wrong.
Yeah,
you're like,
you might be saying it totally wrong, which like a program or like a recording, a playback, you might not be able to pick up, right? And not only that, but there's always like some sort of like subtleties to something you're saying. Like it might mean literally you get this translated, oh, like, how are you doing today? But what you say, what it means to that in that language is not necessarily the exact same,
Right.
Like it might be like less polite, or it might be too polite,
Rude.
rude. Yeah, exactly. So like
Rude
getting
boy.
getting that from an actual tutor is something really good. And then also you have that obligation to go to the class, which is something that helps you stick to the task as well. Because then you're like, oh shit, like I have to go to that class
yeah,
today.
it's like you can't
Other
make
than
an
like,
excuse of no
yeah, it's like,
time.
oh, I can put my headphones in my like little mic on, and then I'm like, well, or League of Legends could
Yeah,
be on
exactly.
right now, like.
Yeah.
Or both.
So-
We're just playing
Yeah.
League
Yeah,
not
just
gonna-
Hola.
hey, just
Yeah.
just go on to like the Japanese server and try to play there
Oh,
and
that's-
Yeah,
communicate
exactly.
with them all.
Oh, that would be one too. Like
Yeah, but then you
interact-
just be like looking at all the language, and you just be like, I have no idea what they're saying.
They're pinging something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I know, like, it's the two big different things of speaking and listening, and then writing. Like, that's like they're
Well-
Yeah.
two very different and very hard things to pick up.
And another thing is communication. Like the words are, I think, like maybe 15 or 20% of actual communication. It's actually your tone, your body language, and everything too. So you don't get that from just a tape or just reading a word.
Right.
So I think that's a good idea. Now I took almost 3 years of French in school and 2 years of Spanish, and that was so
Routine.
long ago,
Yeah.
but. I really enjoyed the French, but I mean, that's a difficult language, quite honestly.
They have a word,
Yeah.
like, they have to make a word for any new word that comes up.
Well, not only that, everything has a masculine and feminine meaning to it, and all these kind of crazy things.
So does Spanish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Like,
it
So do
would-
most
most of them,
languages,
yeah.
right?
besides ours.
Yeah.
But we
Here's
have
one-
one of
here's-
the most confusing languages, though. That's what's
We
funny.
do,
Is English
yeah.
is extremely confusing.
on
Like
that
I don't
second-
even, I can't. I'm not even that great at it.
Dude, you got started.
On that second part, you said was like something that we wanted to learn and that we took the time to go learn. You said.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's something that maybe that we don't know about you, that you actually did take the time. Like I said, I learned
Okay.
snowboarding and jujitsu and everything.
So I don't know if you guys can see this as well. Can
Is
you
that
see
a
that?
greenhouse?
Yes, that is a greenhouse. So I took the time to educate myself on growing and on building things like a greenhouse, and
Sweet.
have done just that. And we've started growing. Let's just
What
say
are you growing, Rocco?
Yeah.
everything.
Green.
No, vegetable. Yeah, everything you can think of vegetable wise. It's like that was something that, like, I don't know where it came from, but it started to develop as a passion slowly over the past like 3-4 years.
You got a green thumb, dude.
Yeah, man. It was like I didn't know, and I just started to slowly put time into educating myself on everything I could about vegetables, plants, greenhouses, understanding it. And this year we finally completed our greenhouse, and it's 18 feet wide by 30 feet long, so it's
Oh,
a pretty
wow.
decent sized greenhouse.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's like I'm not just trying to do it the traditional way either, where it's just I'm making raised beds or just growing within the ground in the greenhouse. But I'm trying to do it a little bit different. So I educated myself also on aquaponics, which I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with.
So I think Nate does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
does,
he
yeah.
said he did. I didn't talk to him much about it, but it's a different kind of growing technique within a system. And that's something that I took the time to learn on my own. I didn't have anybody. I didn't go to a class, or I didn't have anybody teaching me that one. I just kind of picked up the books and started learning it. And 3-4 years later, I'm finally prepared and ready to go.
Right.
That was and it feels gratifying too, especially
Have you
with
guys,
having.
have you guys grown some stuff yet?
Right now we're sowing seeds, so we had our last frost about 2 weeks ago, so we should be good. And growing in a greenhouse is a lot easier. You're not having to worry too much about temperatures outside.
Yeah.
But as of today, it was kind of like 50s. It's going to get to the high 60s. So we figured that right now is a good time for us to start. So the beginning of this week, today's Saturday. The beginning of this week, we planted a few different seeds, prepping for going to transplant probably in about 2-3 weeks into our soil. So we're
What are you growing though?
right now. We have, I mean, seriously, like I said, everything. I meant like everything,
Oh,
like
okay.
sweet peppers, onions, tomatoes. You're talking about beets, lettuce, kale, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, like any and all vegetables you can really think about.
That's awesome.
Fruits, not so much the fruits quite yet.
Are they more difficult?
I think
Not
so.
really. Like strawberries, I want to get down some really awesome, amazing strawberries. But a lot of fruits kind of do the tree thing, and we're not doing any trees right now. So it's kind of like we're just worrying more on the vegetables as of right now, and then any type of fruits that we can grow. One thing I do want to actually do, and I didn't get, was beans. I want to start doing some beans, like because
Musical
beans are such
fruit.
high in protein and stuff like that, and it's a big part of the vegetarian diet. So I want to get some beans going.
Let
But
me
that
ask you
was
this because I was
kind of really excited.
I was curious about like just even having like something like a small like little like grow a potato plant or a few
Me
carrots or
too.
something. What
Yeah.
is the so do you just plant them in cycles so that you like have some that you can harvest? Like
Yes.
what's the cycle?
Yes.
Like how long
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it take, and then like how long until you get the next batch and everything?
So you want to know how long it takes before you have to harvest that plant? Because every plant takes different times. I mean, it can be
Right.
a range of like 45 days, some 100 days. So depending on that, you can break down when it's necessary and how much like supply comes out of that plant. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can break down. So like what we do right now is like lettuce. We'll plant probably like 3 heads of lettuce, and then about a week to 15 days later, we'll plant another 3 or 4, so that we can harvest those 3, and then once those are most likely done,
You have about a week or two of where you can eat that lettuce, and then you have
you got
next
it
one.
exactly,
Okay.
and not have too much, because it's actually a very important thing too that most people don't. They just go out there and they plant everything, and then they find out that they've got a ton of vegetables and ton of stuff that they can pull out, and then they're like,
Yeah.
What do
now
I
a
do
bunch
with all
goes to
this?
waste. Yeah, a bunch goes to waste, and then they don't have, it's not a sustainable garden for them. It's not.
I
They'll
see.
have a month where they have to go out and go buy their own groceries, and then they can go recut up some lettuce if they need to and pull some from the green onions. But
That's awesome. We have
it's
like
something to take into consideration when growing.
two tiny so deep kind of things outside in our condo because we live in a city. So we grow like mint, and we grow like tomatoes, and we grow
Like herbs and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's fun, like, and it's really
It is.
enjoyable when you're like, yeah, we got mint, let's go throw it in the water, or like, hey, we got basil, like, let's go make some pizza and like
Yeah.
add that to it. And
That's
some tomatoes.
awesome.
My mom does the same thing. Yeah, she has like a little herb garden and stuff, and that's
It
what she's always
develops
like.
patience,
Just
man.
throw some stuff on there.
Yeah,
It develops patience, which is like one of the best like attributes that you can develop as a human
Yeah.
being. It's,
yeah.
Well,
it's not something that's like, we're so used to instant gratification here in the United States, or not just the United States, in the world in general right
Yeah.
now nowadays, that it's like when you do the whole growing process and it brings you back to like, take your time. Things are not going to just pop up right there. You're going to have 2 months, 3 months before even any of this is prepared to be, harvested. So, it's another thing I like about that too. It feels like you were saying when you get the mint and and then tomatoes, like you just feel like, yes, we did that.
I did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feels very gratifying. And then you're
And you
saving
can
money.
do
You're like,
all
I don't have to buy this at the store. This is
too.
sweet.
Like
Yeah.
the aquaponic system that I'm building right now, there's the capabilities of building smaller ones. If you're living in the city and you only have a really small area, being able to do stuff to that, do stuff on a small scale too, where you don't have to use bigger fish. You could use things like goldfish if you wanted to as well. Just like kind of, I got a goldfish little tank, feed them a little bit, and that water will cycle around and be able to feed your plants instead of having to use soil.
It's
So-
cool.
Yeah, I think that's what Nate has because he has what was the fish that he
He
has?
has like trout or like
Tilapia?
tilapia.
Tilapia, yeah, tilapia, yeah. He has tilapia, and it's like he's doing this inside of his like hostel apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
Like-
bedroom apart. Not
Like
even
it's
studio
tiny.
apartment.
I've been in it before, and it is tiny, and it's so crazy when he like shows this video because he's got like fucking like bubbling like tilapia tank with like a shit ton of fish swimming around in it,
Yeah.
and then it's like
Yeah.
like you see all these tubes going in throughout like his vegetables and like gardening stuff, and I'm just like, this is insane to be.
And then what he
growing
does,
inside.
the tilapia have eggs, and they
Yeah.
get new tilapia, and then he gets the older tilapia, and he eats them. So like,
Yep.
Right.
he's got his own sustainable
Yep.
food source.
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Exactly. That's why I like the aquaponic system. Now the fish are harvestable like every 9 months, so it takes they're going to be a little bit longer than what you'll get from
He's
the.
got like 10 or 15 of them, right? So like,
The tank that I have is going to carry 200 of them, so
That's
it's going to be
insane.
like. But I'm looking at it as like a eventually converting this into a kind of company. And I already have somebody that like a restaurant that's capable of purchasing the tilapia from me that uses tilapia for their fish. So it's something like
That's nice.
I'm looking at it as almost like a business because eventually I wanted to make it. It started all off like this whole passion, Ian. It started all off from I hated the excuse that people made with I couldn't eat right because it's too expensive.
I remember you saying that years
ago. And I understood that, like I get that, and I was like, all right, I want to eliminate that. So that's why I started this project in the beginning. In the first place was because I wanted to start selling the vegetables that any excess vegetables that I had that my family weren't going to eat, I could start selling them off at conventional prices instead of organic prices. So people could no longer.
That's gonna be Rocco.
I mean, on the side of the road at first, and then eventually, I mean, everything starts out of the garage with entrepreneurs, really, and then sometimes it stays there for a good amount of time until eventually I wanted to change it into a totally different shopping experience where individuals can come there and go to the greenhouse and kind of pick their own food, feel like a gardener, or just give us a list and we can just go get it for them.
That's awesome, Rocco. So Clay, what about you? What do you got?
Mine's more like internet kind of stuff. Like I wanted to code. I've been picking that up on and off. The dream there is to make my own game from start to finish. Podcast was definitely something I wanted to do. I always thought that our friends are very entertaining, and we have we're funny. We have great conversations. We also love video games, and I thought that this was a passion project that at the very least we can just develop content over the course of months and years, and if it takes off, it takes off. If nothing else, we have a pretty cool time capsule to look at.
Speaking of years, aren't we coming up on our year?
Yeah, we still have a couple more months to go, but it's already April. But we have
insane, isn't that?
Yeah, I just thought
so
about that.
Crazy.
So we can go back to our first episode, Virgins and Sex, and we can check that out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really funny. Those have been passion projects. Let's see. I've always wanted to learn a martial arts or something like that. Like I did that when I was a kid, but I kind of wanted to learn actual fighting style that you would actually do in real
like an
world.
MMA or one specifically
like an MMA, a way to
jiu-jitsu
really
all
just
day.
take someone down.
Yeah, exactly. Jiu-jitsu is where it's at.
Like boxing I flirted with. Making music, actually, making a CD. I started a project back when I was in Chicago, and I was going to sample and create my own kind of what is it?
Just dubstep beats, or is it like?
No, it was gonna be a mix of Wax Taylor, where he takes samples of movies and stuff like that and adds that into his beats, but also what is All Day was an album. What is the guy's name? He basically just takes all different types of music and mashes it up, and then creates
Girl Talk.
Yeah, Girl Talk. So it was going to be a combination of Girl Talk and Wax Taylor, and I wanted to kind of just do that. And I had a couple ideas of basically concept albums, go through the years of hip hop and have them broken out.
Like a DJ or a
little bit of DJ,
kind of like a DJing sort of thing.
Yeah, but less. I don't know. It was just going to be a little bit more methodical, and I had this idea of a track called Suicide, and it was going to be a combination of my favorite rap artists who have quote unquote killed the other artist on the track. There's a term that says, oh, he killed that other artist on the track, meaning he was so good that every other artist failed in comparison, and he pretty much killed him. But if you get all those guys who've killed it, and then they've killed each other on their own track, so it was called Suicide, and it was just all the rappers. They're famous. Eminem has a famous track with Jay-Z in which he killed Jay-Z, and then you take Eminem, you take another guy who's killed another, and they're all on one track together. It's and
that's Suicide. That's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool concept.
So it's concepts like that. Also, Wonder Woman was a concept that I had, and it was basically my favorite verses of my favorite rap women. So a Missy Elliott verse that I really liked, a Nicki Minaj verse that I really liked, and a couple other different artists, and then it was just
a Taylor Swift one.
Yeah, of course, Taylor Swift. But yeah, those would be on a track called Wonder Woman. I had a bunch of different stuff that was.
That's
flying
a good
around.
idea.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I can still do it. It still requires me to get into Fruity Loops and tracks and stuff.
FL Studio now.
Yeah, FL Studio. Right. What was
They're
it? Was
legit.
Oh, is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
FL
They
Studio.
changed their name to more legit sounding. Yeah.
Dude, I thought Fruity Loops was a cool name.
Yeah. The album was gonna be called. It was damn it. It wasn't the.
Thug life.
No, so Jay-Z has the blueprint. Jay-Z has the blueprint, but there was a term that comes before blueprint, and I wanted to throw that down there as like an homage, but also like a way to like kind of say that this was like the prototype before that, like get real basic. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas floating around. I gotta look at my notes, but I have like 2 years of notes of all the different types of things I wanted to do, and I started to do that. I started getting samples because I was gonna be, it was like DJ Heartbreak or something like that. Like so, it was a Heartbreak Kid or something like that. Like no, Cardiac, DJ Cardiac. So there would be like the Heartbreak Kid, like that would be like kind of be thrown in on different, and it'd be samples of Shawn Michaels saying that, or samples of like different like movies saying Heartbreak or like Cardiac or different things like that. So. I was gonna have a lot of fun with it and just see what I could do.
Cardia.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, I wanted some like scratching in there to like, cause yeah, like but real scratching, like, and that was probably the most challenging thing because someone who does that really well knows exactly why and what they're doing, and that takes a lot of learning.
I saw a video of that guy from Jim. That was a Jim Team Laundry
yeah,
thing. He's like out there, he's like scratching and just makes no sense. He's
so
just like,
bad.
I'm like, that doesn't sound good at all.
But the reality of the situation is there's a lot of time that needs to be invested in that, and I have my career that I'm focused on. I have my passion projects that are like obtainable that we're doing right now. I have my hobbies, so it's just about prioritizing what I want to get to. I'm sure I'll revisit it eventually, but
yeah,
probably won't be for a couple years.
That's cool though, man.
That's
I didn't
cool.
know that
That's a
part of
good
you.
idea,
Yeah. I didn't know you were gonna be DJ Cardiac.
Yeah.
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah. All right.
I think it hit out pretty well though. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think that covers our topic here. Do you guys want any final thoughts before we sign off?
I'm good.
We're good.
All
I
right,
think
guys.
that's the way the door closes, man.
AK, that's the way the door closes. Guys, this has been another episode of the Everything and Nothing Show. We'll have another episode for you next week. 5 topics, Monday through Friday on YouTube, and Saturday you get the whole thing. Remember, if you want to be a Maelstrom Gamer, head over to patreon.com/MaelstromGamers and support us with as little as $1. That is huge support. If you don't have money, you can always go on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page. Follow us, like us, comment, subscribe. We want to hear from you. We want to play with you, too, because on YouTube, we're streaming League of Legends. So hop on.
Clay wants to play with you.
I want to play with you. We all want to play with you. So hop on to the games we're streaming. Play with us. Be a part of our community. We want to see if you're good. We're not really that good, but we'll make it fun. We promise.
But we are
entertaining.
entertaining.
Yes. So, guys, it's been an honor to entertain you. Peace.
I'm starting us
Take
out
care.
with the music.
Adios.
DJ Cardiac. Cardiac.